Okay. All right. In a way.
Yep. Film Vault. Welcome everyone to the Film Vault. That is Anderson. I'm Robert's your host for today. We got some movies to talk about. Some big sexies. I still don't know if you've seen the Banshees. You're not looking confident. I don't like this.
Very few people have seen the Banshees of Inisherin, Bri. You're one of the few lucky ones, because it's only playing, I think, in one theater in LA, down the street from your house, which must be nice. Guess what? Not playing down the street from your house next week. Playing down the street from my house.
Oh.
I did have tickets for it last night, tonight, and I said, you know what? Well, it's a long story, but I saw something that you didn't even know I saw that was absolutely phenomenal. I began it last night, and the plan, I was running all over the place in the middle of a crazy last-minute production that I was helping produce, but I ran home, had enough time to eat dinner, and then I was going to run back out and see the movie. This is not important or fun for anyone, but I sat down.
By all means, keep going.
With my Frov Diavolo, Bri.
I don't know what that is.
It's an Italian spicy noodle dish. Very, very good.
I feel like I should know that.
Frov Diavolo, Bri.
Oh.
And I started watching a movie, a screener link that I got, that I requested, and I could not take my eyes off this movie. My God, is it good, Bri? And I can't wait to report on it.
I want to know what it is.
Oh, everyone knows except for you right now.
I'm the only one that knows.
It's in the title right there, Bri.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah. All right, we're back, too. We're recording. We got video going. I don't know what happened last week. I think Jordan will be posting it eventually. I don't know. I've not heard from Jordan. But last week, I apologize for my behavior. I was a pabby little boy, very grumpy, and, sick. And I don't do sick good, Bri.
Are we recording?
We're recording. Okay. I did not feel comfortable sitting on my little pull-out couch in my little guest
that's
room.
right. You were remote last week.
I felt like I was doing sexy lounge. It didn't feel right.
I forgot to ask. How are you feeling?
I was grumpy.
How are you feeling now?
And I was pissed because I love that episode that we did last week. I put so much effort and work and thought into the better as horror movies.
Really?
I feel like it got thrown away. It got tossed aside because your mic sounded like such hell.
What?
Oh, it did.
I recorded on Zoom.
Not this again. All right. So, hey, got some very, very good movies to discuss with y'all. I got some good ones.
I
got some good ones.
I have one good one. I have 3 movies.
That happened with another movie too, Brian. I was just going to check it out because I was curious as to what all the hubbub was, this horror film, and I couldn't stop watching that one either. I was supposed to just check in. I was going to report on it.
I want to let you take over this.
And now I love it.
Show.
No, because you got some big ones. You got the big sexy
I do.
ones.
I got Black Adam. I got a few.
Why are you going to call him Black?
You know what? You're right. The movie's just called Adam. I should just go with that.
How many fucking hacks have said, hey, you mean African American, Adam?
It's not African American at all. He's Middle Eastern.
Well, he's got some black in him, I think.
Oh, you mean the actor?
Yeah.
Okay, it's possible. Yeah, I think his dad was black.
That'd be Black Dwayne then. Yeah. Remember how weird it was when he can't use The Rock? How are we going to remember Dwayne? Do you remember that?
No, I remember going by Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
No, but when he first left wrestling, everyone just knew him as The Rock.
Right.
He was just known as, no one knew Dwayne, right? And then they're like, oh, well, he can't take his name with him, so he's going to have to just be Dwayne Johnson as this movie star. I'm like, that'll never work. How do you expect me to remember Dwayne Johnson?
Out. I'm out on Dwayne.
I'm out. Well, I've been out. I mean, I was not in on when he was cooking stuff and asking if people could inhale
smell
it. Yeah. All right, next assigner. Let's just get to this right away. Andrew Martin is owed a movie, and he is assigned us I Want to Hold Your Hand. I Want to Hold Your Hand, Andrew Martin of Andrew Watches Movies.
Where do I know that from?
Andrew is a PA on Groupers. Andrew and I go way back, and Andrew is having a bit of a tough time. I'm not going to get into it. I don't know how much I should or should not disclose, but he's having a bit of a tough go of it. I've been back and forth with Andrew, and I hope you're doing well, buddy, if you're hearing this. And I hope you're not upset with me for saying it. I don't think I said anything or too much, but, we all go through some stuff. And your movie is now up. So he has signed his movies in the past. He's the one who brought us Empty Man. And he's the one who had the top 5 R-rated movies we can't wait to show our kids. when he was a decider, and now he's got I Want to Hold Your Hand.
Is this the 1978 film?
Yeesh.
Oh, thank God. This has been a blind spot of mine, and I'm glad. Yeah, I mean, it's tangentially related to the Beatles, and also Robert Zemeckis' first film. And I'm meaning to see this and finally have the opportunity.
I Want to Hold Your Hand, Brett.
I do.
All right. You know what? We still owe our buddy Grant Baldwin, who was kind enough to give us the theme of our show, the theme music.
Love it.
We owe him a movie too, which is one of his own. He's a filmmaker. He's a documentarian. He made Just Eat It, and we will be watching his mountaineering documentary that he made last year, or a couple years ago. So that's coming up too.
What's that called?
We also got Rand Courtney coming up. Rex Fisher's coming up with What Is a Woman, which is a Daily Wire film.
Oh.
We got Tam Smith coming up. She's got Father Stu, and then we also have Eric Robbins, who's going to have us watch
Father Stu, the Mark Wahlberg movie.
Yes, Eric Robbins going to have us watch Dr. Horrible Sing Along. Very short, Brian. Very, very short. And I'm not sure if I've seen it. I may or may not have seen it. Can't recall. All right, so that's what's on the docket. If you did not hear your name and you feel like you're owed a movie, please do hit me at Anderson@AndersonCowan.com.
I got bad news. Is this on YouTube? I Want to Hold Your Hand is not currently available for streaming.
We'll figure her out. And you know what? If we can't find it, I'll check in with Andrew and we'll have a week off. All right.
This can be seen on.
More importantly, this Wednesday, that's right, this Wednesday, you and I are going to be holding hands, Brian, on my couch watching
All this is true.
A Patch of Blue. I am so fucking excited to watch A Patch of Blue with you and all of you. I am so pumped to watch this movie with you guys. I think it's going to be...
Oh, you love this movie.
I love it for maybe all the wrong reasons, but it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a blast. All right, so if you'd like to do that, that's at the $10 and up level on our old Patreon. Also, I've been threatening to do this, but I'm going to start streaming our show live for our $10 and up level right now. You know,
right.
I'm just going to shoot out the private link that we record this on YouTube on usually Tuesday nights, and everyone can watch along, warts and all.
Oh, no, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Oh, yeah. Not everyone, just, the elite few.
You know what? We're going to have to talk about that.
I don't know about elite. I don't know if calling someone who gives us $10 a month is nice to call them elite.
Oh, they're part of the elite. The upper crust.
Finally, our YouTube shorts are continuing to grow, and we're also now on TikTok, evidently. So that is good. And you know how I know that? Because we have some fan fictions. And one of them is from TikTok, from a TikTok user. TikTok,
I would like to.
TikTok.
You need to tell us if we can access this film. I want to see it, but do not see.
Oh God, you get stuck on things. Did I not tell you what's going to happen there?
Access.
Did I not tell you what's going to happen with that?
A week off.
We may have a week off. All right, here's what the listeners have been watching. It's brought to us week in, week out by Mitch Burns. Thank you very, very much, Mitch Burns, for compiling this list, little sampling of what our listeners have been watching. Ted Peterson on Facebook comes in with, I don't get the extreme hate Black Adam is getting. It wasn't the greatest thing ever, but it had its moments. Oh, no. Dr. Fate being one of them.
Who?
Dr. Fate, Brian.
Oh, sure. I thought I said Dr. Feet. I'm like, I don't remember a doctor who specialized in feet.
David Whittle on Facebook. Black Adam, completely and embarrassingly by the numbers. And it's DC, so if it's not Batman, it's bleh. Aquaman was better. Hell, Marvel's Morbius was better. And everyone dogpiled on that one. The Shazam storylines are just dumb. I spelled dumb in the car today because my son was in the car and I wanted to tell my wife that I believed that a mom who was karate, one of the parents of karate was dumb, but I didn't want to say it out loud.
It's fair.
So I spelled it for her, and I made a little jokesy. I said, she is D-U-M-M-M-M. And she goes, oh, my God, you misspelled it. I'm like, you remind me of one of those listeners who doesn't understand me.
You don't think I intentionally did that?
She's like, there's a B in it. I'm like, well, I don't know if I can be in a relationship with you anymore. How do you?
Anderson, if that's the straw that broke Campbell's back.
There's a lot of straw. A whole lot of straw. All right, Black Adam's TFV score is 75%.
No,
what?
It's not.
What are you guys doing? I think that's a small sample size. More you guys need to lay in and let people.
3 out of 4 people.
Chris Wolfing.
Gio voted twice.
Chris Wolfing. Does Gio like the DC? I guess he does.
He likes all things comics.
He likes all things.
He likes all things.
He's extreme. One way or the other, that Gio.
There's no middle ground. There's no 3-star.
There is no 3-star with Gio. Everything's 5 or 1.
one of the most gratifying moments of my life was on the After Disaster when you posed the 3-star thing in my theory, and instantly, Corrado and Tyler.
I understand that, like, if you're like, I understand how many people would feel that way. I also can see how a lot of people would feel my way, which is if you're giving something 3 stars, you're saying that it's neither here nor there. I get mathematically how you like, hey, this is the same thing as like me saying that summer movies have to start like on
the day the summer arrives,
June 22nd, yeah, or whatever it is. Right? It's the same kind of thing.
It's the same kind of thing.
It is. I think 4 is above, 2 is below, 3 is right in the middle. It makes fucking perfect sense. All right,
keep going with
Chris Wolfen finally saw the documentary "The Fastest Woman on Earth" about the life and death of Jesse Combs. Very powerful, and it hit me in a way I didn't expect. Definitely makes you think about your own mortality. I don't need more of that in my life, Chris. I mean, I feel like I spend enough time thinking about that, just trying to get off to sleep. And first thought every morning.
Your book ended by mortality.
I am, and then all throughout the day, I just run from it. And then as soon as I slow down, it's just like it's coming. Martina,
what an existence!
It's fine. Martina Lualalonga on Facebook. I think I nailed her name. Lualalonga on Facebook. VH99 is a wild ride, she says.
VH99.
VHS 99. Sorry.
Okay.
VHS 99.
Oh yes.
That's speaking of blind spots. That horror anthology has been
not seen by us.
Not seen by us. No. And then Rich Jetty on TikTok. Told you, Brian. Rich Jetty on TikTok. On our TikTok, we got the TikTok of Anderson and Brian, or it's the Film Vault. One of the other.
Notes.
Anderson and Brian or the Film Vault. Watch 2015's The Lure. It's a Polish mermaid horror musical. It's hard not to think of this as being the original fish fucking movie. That's another blind spot for me there, Rich Jetty.
Fish fucking movies.
And then finally, Richard McGarrelin on Facebook watched Avatar. Paused after. You heard me laughing as I was pre-reading these.
I did. I'm enjoying this.
Richard McErlian on Facebook. He watched Avatar, paused after the 1 hour mark, only to find it was 20 minutes in.
That's good. Very clever.
It's very good. It's so simple and so funny. In a word, mediocre. Okay. Yeah, that Avatar is a little
up for Best Picture. So you know it has to be good.
Has to be at least 3 stars.
That's right. That's right.
Hey. You know, I've been wanting to bring this up for a long time.
Let's hear it.
It's insane how often this happens. I don't know if it happens to you, but when I'm screening a movie at home, I'm watching a movie at home, and I feel like I'm
screening a movie.
I know I did. You know, it depends on who it's lensed by. Whether or not I'm enjoying it. Well, you know, it all comes down to who pens it and who lenses it.
Pens and lens.
Hey, I love my buddy Greg Sorzavasti, but Greg, if you're listening, you say lensed, and it makes me shiver.
Does he really?
Yeah, but, you know, he's an actual film critic. He's been film criticking for.
That's worse.
For the night. No, Brian. You can't call out people being bougie when you're the bougie king.
I'm the bougie one.
Yeah.
The dictionary was the best one.
What?
It's just it just tells you how the word is used.
See, I want something definitive.
I do too.
Yeah. All right, that's last week's argument. All right.
It's not an argument. I'm telling you a fact.
So many times when I'm watching a movie, whether it's good or bad, a lot of the time I will get to a part in the movie where I feel like I'm pretty far in. Maybe I feel like it's maybe the end of the first act, and it's time to take a quick break and, you know, go check on the wife, make sure she's good. I'll pause. We all do it, right? There are some movies I sit down uninterrupted because they're that good, and I'm just like, fuck it. I'm not getting up. No interruptions.
Puddle your own urine.
Who am I kidding? Like I get interrupted just constantly, right? Even when I watch in my garage, like there's still like noises that I have to attend to. All right, I can't tell you how many times I pause, and it's almost like an inside joke with me now, and it's 22 minutes. Almost every
That's extremely weird
time. It's really strange to the point that I laugh now.
Is this like the Jim Carrey movie where you keep seeing the same number over and over again?
What was that movie?
The number 36? Number 37.
But it's 22, and there's something about movies in the way that at least I, you know, consume them. That 22 minutes seems like a good pausing point.
Maybe if they're better lensed.
Oh, Greg, I hope you're not listening to this and mad at me, buddy.
I don't think he gets mad.
Oh, he gets mad.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He seems like a very even-tempered fellow to me.
Yeah, don't piss off Greg. You don't want to do that.
Or what?
All right, let's talk moves.
movie time. Let's go right into the big sexy. After it was alluded to, 75% amongst our listeners for Big Black Adam.
Can I just tell you that I'm not watching this movie? I don't plan to watch this movie.
I'll take this one
I
solo.
don't think it brings anything to the program.
Black Adam is a 2022 film directed by Jaume Collet-Serra.
Yeah, nailed it.
He's the director of Jungle Cruise, which I didn't assign you, did I?
No, you did. That's the only reason why I saw that.
Oh, fun movie. Did the boy enjoy it?
No, you can't watch that shit.
How's that?
It was like snakes bursting out of faces.
Daddy. Starring Dwayne Johnson. I don't know who that is. Aldous Hodge. Noah Centineo.
What, are you doing a bit? Because I don't dig
Centineo. Noah Centineo. Sarah Shahi. Quintessa Swindell. Marwan Kanzari. Pierce Brosnan and Viola Davis also star in this. 39% of Rotten Tomatoes. This is in theaters now. So our listeners, the first one mostly nailed it. Or who was the one that gave the better review? I forget. Hard to define, Anderson, but this movie is extremely silly.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not the trailer. Would not have you believe that.
No, in fact, remember the scene where he punches the F-16s or whatever they are, the fighter jets? Not in the movie.
Was Tom Cruise in that?
Not in the movie.
See?
I couldn't tell if he was in it or not. And
that was not in the movie?
No.
Holy shit!
That's all I remember.
That's the budget. That scene is the budget of so many better movies, and it's not in it.
So, okay.
I shouldn't say that. I've not seen it. Maybe it's the greatest.
I have seen it. Problem number one. Okay, I'm gonna say this knowing while I'm thinking this in the theater, I'm thinking this to myself and thinking, I've seen this all before. I've seen that in that movie. I've seen that in that movie.
Oh, is that like a tapestry?
It is. Yeah. It's completely.
It's like a remix, like a mashup.
I'm gonna stop short of saying stolen, but there are many elements where it's like that is that thing that I saw 2 years ago.
It seems like that's what the trailer kind of led me to believe. But it's The Rock doing it.
And right? I will say this. I had a little imaginary Giovanni on my shoulder where the angel and the devil goes.
Was he both?
He was the angel and the devil. Yeah, he was both. He was on my shoulder.
For new listeners, Giovanni is superfan Giovanni, and I think he loves the show, and I think he loves us.
I think he tolerates the show.
I mean, he listens a lot. He archives it.
He's addicted.
He is. He's addicted.
He does have a compulsive personality.
He might get to a point where he'd like to leave but can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's where I am right now.
But Giovanni is a character of the show. He's a huge help on the show.
But he's a huge resource because he knows. My God, does he know comic book properties and movies and all under that umbrella? So I have a little Gio on my shoulder the whole time. Every time I think to myself, that's from the other movie. There's Gio going, "Oh, this Black Adam actually did it first in the comic books." It was.
You know what's so funny? When I'm watching Spider-Man with the boy, I got Gio in my ear as well. Gio's taking over a part of my life.
Fully acknowledging that maybe a lot of these elements existed in this movie or this property in comic book form before they found their way to other films. That may be true. However, they've been used in other films, and now I don't know. I can't enjoy this for doing what it does.
Right.
So, for example, like there's Force lightning. There's lightning out of the fingertips from Star Wars. There's Shazam, and I understand it's like an extension of the Shazam universe, but like he says Shazam to turn himself big and small.
Oh, he does?
Yes.
Is he like the new Shaquille O'Neal?
Oh no, you're thinking of the Genie movie.
No. I like Shazam. And Shazam
I did too, because Shazam was appropriately silly. This was trying to be awesome and kind of scary, but at the same time fully PG.
Can it be awesome now? I mean, is it just bravado that they can come out with a movie like this and think that they can re-energize everyone with the same old drivel? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, can't anyone with like just a baseline?
I understand.
Like intelligence know that there's no way to do that. You understand what I mean?
It feels very cynical in that respect because yes, this feels aimed at either people who are really into Black Adam, like have been looking forward to this for years.
Like 15 of those people out there.
I imagine there's a lot of people, or very dumb people,
or really new people like kids who have never seen Superman.
There's essentially the Anthony Mackie character is in this from the Marvel Cinematic Universe again.
He is
essentially. the same version.
Oh, he's not the Falcon, though?
No,
or?
it's Hawkeye, Hawkman, whatever the fuck he is. Aldous Hodge, with the giant hawk wings and the mask.
Isn't he Falcon? I think he's Falcon. I don't know.
In this, he's Hawkman or Hawkeye or one or the other.
No, it can't be Hawkeye. That's...
Oh, is that Jeremy?
Trademark, yeah.
Oh, he's Hawkman. There's a character who grows to gigantic proportions like Ant-Man. The Ant-Man is running around the film. Doctor Strange is Pierce Brosnan. Well, he is casting spells and seeing the future. Again,
but this is DC just stealing, right?
Maybe this was the origination of all of those things. Despite that, I've seen it all. I don't need to see it again.
Well, maybe it's made for people who are so DC hard.
That's what I'm saying.
That they refuse to watch Marvel movies.
Oh, I see.
And
so
they're
holding
all
out
new
for
to
the
them.
real version.
Yeah. And they're like, finally, we're seeing lightning bolts shoot out of fingertips.
And there's even a Terminator 2 kind of storyline where so I'm not even going to bother with the plot. There's a little kid, right? And he kind of befriends Black Adam, and he's kind of telling him, remember in Terminator 2 when Eddie Furlong was like, say hasta la vista, baby. And then it becomes like a recurring thing. They do that exact same thing. They do the exact same thing with a different line.
Well, I mean,
tell them the black man sent you. Or whatever. Tell them the black man said hi, or whatever the fuck.
Is this a long piece of garbage too? Like a long coil?
It's actually only about 2 hours.
Oh, yeah. That's nice. Usually, like the first one is like, are they going to make more of these, or is it standalone?
Yes. I was reading up on this on the Wikipedia page.
That's something.
And
to look
apparently, there are plans to have him fight Superman. There are plans to have him pop up in other DC properties, i.e., Batman and Joker.
Oh, fuck yeah!
And then he's there's an obvious Shazam crossover because they both have the lightning bolt, and they say Shazam.
Shazam's the only thing that I like that's going right now with DC, and they're going to taint it.
You like Joker?
No, I thought Joker was like, I thought it was wildly overrated. Okay, with the
you like Suicide Squad?
Oh, I love the Suicide Squad. Yeah, it's the best thing I've seen in DC since The Dark Knight.
Shazam!
Oh my goodness. Hey, right.
Hey,
I lost my train of thought again.
No.
You're derailing.
Tiny Geo,
my train.
Tiny Geo on my shoulder. Shazam, best thing since Joker. Other properties.
Oh, the trailer had me believing that this was like really dark and like he's a superhero that's going to kill. Dude, he's going to kill. And you're not supposed to kill as a superhero, but he's the kind that does.
If you put it up against Joker or what's the newest The Batman, it looks like it looks like a Pixar film.
Well, maybe they were doing that, gearing it towards The Rock's younger fan base, which they're out there.
I don't know. That dude's 50 years old. Like, do kids love The Rock?
I think they love The Rock.
Maybe.
Yeah. I saw something the other day. Oh, I wasn't even going to bring this up, and I was thinking about this on the way over here, and I didn't want to upset you or the listeners, but I read
upset me anyway.
I read that Marvel is actually acquiring old catalogs of old classic movies, and they're just going to remake them with Marvel characters.
With Marvel characters?
Yeah, I think that Godfather might already
really?
Gone through.
That's a big one.
Goodfellas.
I was thinking like Miracle
they already
on
did it
34th
with
Street.
DC already did it with Taxi Driver.
It's a Wonderful Life.
They're going to do that, for Christmas. They're going to have Christmas stuff. But
Doctor Strange is
they're remaking every old movie,
right?
Just with Marvel characters.
I can see that working.
Yeah, I mean, here's the fucking sad thing. It would.
It would.
It absolutely would.
Midnight Cowboy.
I can't watch things unless they're wearing capes. I don't know how to watch stories unless they're flying.
Midnight Express.
I hate the world. I hate it so much. All right.
I will say this. DC has apparently, maybe Gio knows more about this, and please send Anderson a long email. apparently, they have completely adopted the Zack Snyder look as like their aesthetic. Like, there were times in this movie where there was such signature shots from Zack Snyder. I was like, is he the shadow director on this? Because there's like 300 level shots where people get sliced with swords and the blood, kind of.
That's kind of like what you expect from DC, right?
But they have. What I'm saying is, I think they're so invested in Zack Snyder as like the I don't know, the driver of this train, aesthetically, that they're like, yeah, all our films must look like this. Because there were times where I was like,
you know what they're doing? They're frantically trying to build more track because that train is off.
Well, they're trying to build an identity.
And they're trying to build track in front of this train that got derailed 10 years ago, I think, right? All right, where are we going?
The guy next to me was literally squirming in his seat.
Because it was so
excited.
No.
Oh, yes.
No.
At the beginning and the end, I'm going to give you an example.
I should not be reacting this way because I've not seen the movie. Maybe Brian's got it wrong.
He was alone, by the way. He next to me, when the previews are happening, when the final preview came on, it was like the 7th or 8th one, because it's a big movie, obviously. He allowed an audible, like he wanted to get the movie started. He was upset there was another trailer.
I mean, we all get a little bit tired.
And I leaned over to him like, Nicole Kidman is still coming.
Did you? You didn't do that.
But then at the end, people who've seen the movie know that there is a mid-credit sequence that is sure to delight fans of the DC universe. And boy, oh boy, was he excited. He clapped.
Did he clap?
He's like, yes! when a character shows up, who I will just say, I will venture a guess, has not inspired any positive thoughts in any average person. The iteration of this character.
I bet it has, though. Right?
No.
I've heard it has. I heard there's a 5-second cameo that happens in this movie. It's like 5 seconds.
Is this the same one I'm talking about?
No, I'm talking about the Black Adam over there.
Yeah. I'm saying there is a
it happens in the post credits. How did it happen in the movie?
This is the only...
Or the mid-credit roll?
This is the only cameo I can remember off the top of my head.
Okay,
and it's a big
really
one.
Quick?
And it's a big one. So it's like, oh, this must be what you're talking about.
He
was clapping.
I was on Relay, Brian, which is
What is that?
If you guys are listening to this, this is not a paid sponsorship. I am doing some work with
Maybe we
Relay.
should get paid for this.
I am doing some work. But I'm telling you, it's a really, really cool like social media app for movies. And there's only people on there talking about movies, and they fucking love movies. And it's so cool to see like a community coming together. And I want to build Film Vault's community over there too. I left a couple reviews just today. Just quick little hits. They're video reviews. Anyone can join. It's really, guys, this is early. Get in there early, and you can build a little bit of following or follow some people that you like. It's cool to be at the ground level of a social media app. And I hope this thing, I don't know if it'll stick around, but I hope it does, because it's got some really, really cool features. They got themes where you can like talk about. I left a review about my the most squirmy, anxious movie you've ever seen. A movie that brings the most anxiety, right? Okay. And they got like a bunch of people who leave little 30-second reviews of a movie that builds anxiety really well. Mine was The Suicide Squad.
I didn't see that coming.
No, neither did I. But it occurred to me, like, I don't know if I've been that anxious in a theater, worried that someone was going to come in and recognize or see me, like a friend of mine, and would see me in that fucking theater watching the goddamn Suicide. So, because the Sorcerer was already taken, and the Sorcerer, not the Sorcerer. Sorcerer is probably the most anxiety-ridden movie I've ever seen. That William Friedkin Sorcerer. My God. All right.
I don't know who that is.
All right. Let's. I'm gonna spend a little bit of time here, Brian. Right?
Please.
Let's name the slashers, like the Mount Rushmore of slashers.
Slasher films,
okay. But like the antagonists, the murderers.
Oh, like the Freddy Kruegers of the world.
We got the Freddy Krueger over there. We got the Mike Myers, of course, Jason Voorhees, right?
I think Leatherface is up there.
Leatherface is right there, Bri.
Rushmore's 4 people.
All right, we're making our own fucking Rushmore.
Well, we've got to be Norman Bates.
No, Brian.
No?
No, not Norman Bates, Brian.
He's the most iconic slasher in film history.
Brian, I know where you're going, but once again, you're being very...
What?
You're very, very literal about it. Like the ones that we see all like you go into like Spirit Shop.
Okay. All right.
You see costumes. No one's dressing like Norman Bates.
You didn't explain that.
People dress like the Shower sometimes, and they think they're clever, but no one dresses like Norman Bates. Who else? You got?
Is like from Saw?
I think that's the newest one. Yeah. Jigsaw is probably the newest one, right?
Pinhead? Is the people
Pinhead? Huh? Pinhead's Pinhead's an inspired one. I'll give you that. Well, I have something to tell you, Brian.
Oh, tell me.
There's a new one.
Oh, no.
And I am on board with this fucker. Have you heard anything about this Terrifier 2?
Yes. Oh, yes. Well, yeah, Gina Grad on the On Crawl show did a story on it, said people are vomiting and from all the horror. And I went on a screed and said, I've seen newborn porn.
Okay.
Don't get that drop.
I am marking that. All right. I have not seen Terrifier 2. I was curious as to what all the hubbub was about, and I wanted, I can't watch just Terrifier 2.
We've seen Martyrs. I saw a girl flayed alive.
I have no plans on ever watching a Terrifier 2. I'm thinking to myself, I'm just going to see if Terrifier 1 is available. And to my shock and horror, this is not the first. Terrifier is actually the second, because there's a All Hallows Eve, which came out a few years before it, also starring Art the Clown, who is the new... He's got to knock somebody off. This fucker is awesome, Brian. This movie, Terrifier, I can't speak to Terrifier 2. I will see it. I almost went to see it just last night.
Wow.
And, all right, so this movie is so... Where are my notes? This movie is so campy, so down and dirty, so old school throwback, and very funny at the same time. You can tell that the filmmakers just had so much fun making this movie. Art the Clown, it's Halloween night. There's two, you got all the tropes in there. There's two women, one of which is drunk. She's got the cleavage showing over there.
Nice.
And her friend is not drunk, and she's much more with it. And they're just walking the streets trying to get home, and they get back to their car, and there's like drunkenness going on, and that's when they see Art the Clown for the first time. He's a mime, Brian. He doesn't speak.
Oh.
And he's got these horrific bloody teeth. Oh my God, the way it opens up. It opens up with a television interview of a woman with a face that has been torn off in some kind of attack, and she's being interviewed by...
Like a monkey attack? Chimp?
They don't really get into that. It's just they're talking about how brave she is, and she's talking about how children are now scared of her, and she looks really bad, right?
As one without a face might.
It's on a TV.
Do you think all of our listeners have their faces?
I don't think so. It's on a TV that's shot like so that we're shooting the shot is of the TV. So and then there's waves going over it, and it's kind of like flickering. So it gives a little break to the face, because it's a lot of makeup going on. And this is shoestring budget stuff, right? So. Then that's how the movie opens. It's like, oh, we're starting off with a bit of a bang. And then we flash forward to Halloween night, and that's where Art the Clown shows up, and he starts following these women. And it's not the jump scare type slasher. Like he follows them into a grease spoon like pizza joint, right? And he just sits there and he's staring at them, and they're both like kind of freaked out by him. But no, the drunk girl's not freaked out at all. She goes over and she takes a selfie with him, and he's carrying this trash bag over his back. Brian, it goes to really, really funny slasher, extremely gross places. He pulls out a gun at one point and just shoots like they're going back and forth, and he does like the Indiana Jones thing where he just pulls out a gun and says, "Fuck it, I'm gonna." He's one of these guys that doesn't talk. He can't be killed. He's such.
Is he supernatural?
David Howard Thornton plays him. He's an actor who plays him. He does a phenomenal job playing Art the Clown. I want more.
Is he supernatural?
He may be. He kind of has to be with all of the abuse that he takes. Yes, absolutely. He has to be supernatural. They don't explain that in this one. But here's the weird thing. I don't like slasher movies. I don't like horror films. I don't like jump scares. I don't like that kind of stuff. I love this movie. There's something comforting about it.
Does it have a good sense of humor about it?
It has a really good sense of humor.
And you haven't seen number 2?
I have not yet, because it's only in theaters, which is great. It's like a Kickstarter movie, and they're making it work in theaters. Apparently, it was only supposed to play for like 1 week, and it's already played 2 or 3 weeks now. But what I love about this movie, it is so fucking punk rock. They're onto something. They probably could have gone a little softer, and people will be Art the Clown next year. Like
not this year.
Possibly this year, but
you're saying it'll seep in.
It'll seep in. I mean, it's what's strange is how
he's played the Joker before, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that. He played the Joker in some iteration of something that I've never seen before. But David Howard Thornton has played the Joker. He's fucking great as Art the Clown, because he has to emote, pantomime, and can't speak.
Heavy makeup.
He looks a little bit like that subliminal flicker you get in The Exorcist. You remember that thing?
No.
The Exorcist, and William Friedkin threw it in there. Another William Friedkin.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And it's got the face. He looks a little bit like that. He's just a very creepy looking mime clown, and he acts the mime, and he kills like a mime, and he eats faces like a mime. And there's a lot of blood and guts. And I heard that the second one is just so much harder to watch.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, but if it's got the same sense of humor and it doesn't take itself seriously, I mean, that's the problem with the Voorhees movies. Like a lot of I don't like the movies that take themselves all seriously. I don't like that. This movie definitely had a sense of humor about it. And what I was starting to say is they could have made this more marketable. I don't think they knew what they were onto. They were just, some guys having a good time making this, horror movie. They what do you call it? They dedicated it to Tobe Hooper and Wes Craven, the memory of Tobe Hooper, Wes Craven, and the three of the dead greats. But they could have made him. They didn't need to have blood on his teeth. Like he looks like he'd be hard to market. However, that said, I won't be surprised if he's in like Spirit Halloween shops next year, and he becomes just one of. If they keep going, I'm on board for this guy. I will continue to watch this guy, Art the fucking Clown. Now this is real low rent. I meant to look up how much the budget was, but it feels like it should be. Like, it fits the tone. It fits what they're going for with the old school. And I've seen Vulgar, and I've seen that clown movie. Those took themselves too seriously. This, Vile, I've seen Vile. This one, I think it was called. This one's just it's got heart. It's got heart. Which now I can't speak to the second one. God knows, but I will be able to soon enough. All right. Oh, fuck yeah, Terrifier, Brian. Terrifier. Got a real special place in my heart.
I don't think I want to know. We're gonna ask Florence. By the way, Florence comes up in the next episode.
Yes, I already asked Florence if she was concerned about Terrifier from the things she's heard about the grossness she has not watched.
She's a fucking horror film.
I mean, I heard that like women have things coming out of their vaginas in the second one. None of that happened in the first one. It might be too much.
Lots of things come in their vagina.
Might be too much. I don't know. We'll
Babies.
see. Well, and there's like severed heads and stuff.
Oh, I see. That's much more disturbing. Easy, buddy.
All right,
let's Dr. Drew over there.
Let's take a quick break here, Brad.
Fine.
Talk a little drugs, huh? Huh?
Okay. What does that mean?
I don't know. Well, now we can't take the break. Tell me your next movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I just screwed that up.
Let's keep the Halloween horror theme going.
Mm-hmm.
I was assigned a film. I was assigned a foreign film called Piggy. Piggy is a 2022 film written and directed by Carlos Pereda, starring Lauren Galan as Sarah and Richard Holmes as El Desconocido. Loosely translate to the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
The unknown. 90% Rotten Tomatoes. You have to rent this. 90 minutes. Gets in and out. Premiered at Sundance. This is the story of a rotund girl.
She's rotund. She's heavy. She's a big girl.
Heavy set.
Lives in Spain. It's all shot in Spain. It's a Spanish film.
Apparently in Spain there are public
watering holes.
Watering holes?
Yeah.
It's a swim in though. Mm-hmm. Then watering holes.
Looks like they tiled it in. I think they do that some places, Brian.
Yeah, like
a natural spring, and they just put some, ladders and stuff to go. And it's all, right angles and whatnot. Not important. Not germane to the story.
Well, it's important to the story.
It's not. The pool is. You just said pool.
Public pool. This is the daughter of a butcher.
3 little piggies, Brian.
That's right. She is teased / bullied by her classmates for being rotund and for being a daughter of a butcher. They take a picture of her and her equally rotund parents and post online with the caption 3 little pigs.
Yeah. And her parents are clueless as to like their teenage daughter's misery, wandering the
the mother's
village.
Like, pull it together.
Yeah, pull it together. What's the problem? You got enough bacon on the table to eat. You got a roof over your head. So what? Good. You're fat. What's the problem?
We got jamon.
And she's getting bullied mercilessly. So I don't know if you said the writer of this, director-writer, she wrote this to kind of try and explore and illustrate just how tough it is being a teenage girl, let alone a rotund teenage girl, as you say.
Indeed. Good news for fetishists. You get to see a lot of young Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah, for fetishists. Yeah. I thought you said feather chest.
No, for fetishists.
Fetishists, yeah. If you like the big girls, you'll see quite a bit of her. She's never like overtly nude.
No, but she covers up. She's in a bikini that is falling off. Yeah. Because she is running away.
Brian's doing this movie no favors. So there's a bull on the loose, all right? They didn't need. I don't know if the story really needed that. But
that's a red herring.
Yeah, so you hear early on that during the run of the bulls, one of the bulls jumped over a partition, and now they can't find the bull, and it's out there, and no one knows. Meanwhile, Sarah's out there being large and getting bullied by her peers, and
she's doing both those things.
She's doing those things, and she goes to the pool. We've already seen we've already seen a interaction at the pool where before Sarah gets there, where a lifeguard is being kind of a coxman with the waitress, and he says something to a guy whose face we don't see, and it kind of pulls back, and there's some mystery there, right? Now, Sarah waits for everyone to leave the pool. She goes there in her bikini where she can feel comfortable by herself. She gets in the pool. Oh, lo and behold, a guy pops up. He's already in the pool. She tries to ignore him, whatever. And then her peers, these 3 girls that are very mean to her, show up, and they steal all her shit and make fun of her. And then she dives down, and she's being like, attacked by them verbally. Yep. And that's when we see that the lifeguard has his hands bound, and he is at the bottom of said pool.
For far too long.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
So what
far
we
too
learned
long to stay in life
is there is a killer on the loose, and Sarah gets mixed up with this killer, and there's some satisfaction to be had, perhaps. There's an unlikely team up with Sarah and said killer, and it goes from there. I like this movie quite a bit. I wanted to like it a whole lot more, and I probably would have if it was better.
Yeah, agreed. If it would be a better movie, it was a little better.
I would like it a lot more if it was a better movie.
Now this is a solid thriller, but like Anderson said, I fell just short of loving it.
Yeah,
and I liked it. It's a good movie.
I liked it a lot. I liked the first 2 acts quite a bit. The psychological horror of it, and kind of walking a mile in her shoes, almost literally at times when she's walking home from the with no clothes to wear. It was very, very sad. However, it just didn't quite. I can't put my finger on exactly what it missed, but it didn't have that.
It felt like it unnecessarily spiraled away from that sort of mysterious, like you said, psychological horror of the bullying, et cetera, and what could be out there, and became a very overt splatterfest in the third act.
It did, and I felt like that was they felt like as though it was necessary to fill that midnight vibe almost, you know what I mean? That midnight showing vibe, that Shudder vibe, which I
don't know if that I don't know if that exists in Spain.
Horror. No, it's going to be a horror film is what I'm saying. It's like it was almost
obligatory.
Obligatory. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. And I don't know if it was necessary. That said, there are decisions that are made in that final act that I found to be very interesting and thought-provoking, and I have thought about that quite a bit. So while I didn't love the third act, there's enough there. There's enough there to recommend this movie. For sure.
Especially if this is your genre.
Yeah,
you'll be in. There's a scene where Sarah is retrieving or trying to retrieve a lost phone at night in the woods. And it is quite the tapestry. There's phone sounds going off. There's fireworks happening because it's some holiday or something.
This is a well-made movie.
There's some good stuff in here. That was a great scene.
There's some good stuff, exactly. There's not a whole lot of great stuff. Short of like some shots of her walking down that road and perhaps the end, which is the movie poster, which you see her covered in blood. There are people that are going to really, really respond to this movie, I think. It sounds like Brian and I are not them, but that's not to say it's not a good movie.
It is a good movie. It's not, not made for us.
All right, let's take a quick break. I can tell you I saw 3 movies, Brian, this week. And Piggy was my third favorite of the week.
I'd like to hear
my second favorite was Terrifier.
Oh.
My first favorite is what we're going to talk about briefly when we come back from this little break.
Why brief?
Because we're running out of show, bro.
That's a good point.
And I think hopefully we talk about this movie more. That Holy Spider. I'm not going to keep it from anyone because they already know in the title.
I don't know.
Holy Spider, the director of Border.
Oh, Border. You guys have heard us talk about Feels, and there's a good reason for that. Well, they're a sponsor. They've been with us for a long time, but there's a reason they've been with us for a long time. We're wires exposed. We're a little picky about our sponsors. Certain ones come to us, and it's like, no, not a good fit, or I don't care about that product, or I don't see how that's helpful to our audience in any way, or helpful to me.
We're careful. Yeah, we're careful. And we're honest, too. I mean, we've had reads in the past where, like, we weren't in love with a sponsor. We
talked
about
soft sell.
We said, hey, this is what it does, kind of like we did with Piggy just now. But Feels is the real deals, and Brian and I both use this product, and we will not be talking about it week in, week out if it didn't do good things for us.
Indeed, it's helped Anderson with his anxiety. It has helped me. It's funny. I took it mostly when I was undergoing my pretty severe cancer treatment.
Oh, you puss.
And it cured my cancer. No. And it's helped me sleep really well. And I enjoyed it so much, enjoyed the effects, that I stayed on it. And I'm still doing the Feels every single night. I'll be doing it later on.
Yeah, Brian takes it more regularly than I do. I kind of have it in, I don't want to say break glass in case of emergency, but like the other day, in the middle of the day, I was just like, my brain
when
kind of
things get to a certain point,
my brain got broken, and I was thinking about the same thing over and over. It's something that was really stressing me out, and I could not stop thinking about it. And I put a little tincture underneath my tongue, and 15 minutes later, I was relaxed working on something that I should have been working on.
Kind of like when the temperature gets too hot, the AC kicks on. You're like, this is exactly.
It's like the nest of CBD. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know if we're allowed to say that, but you can use that. Feels.
Nest is different. That's different whole category.
It really is.
Products.
Start feeling better today with Feels. Become a member today by going to feels.com/TFE. And you'll get 50% off. Thank you for reminding everyone. Feels. You got 50% off your first order with the free shipping. That's feals.com/TFE to become a member. You get 50% automatically taken off your first order with free shipping. That's feels.com/TFE.
Back to the program.
We're back. I really want to hear about the movie that everyone knows about, but not me.
This is Octopus Caveman.
Oh.
Octopus Caveman. Did we mention? We mentioned that Florence is going to be in studio with us for the next episode that gets dropped on Friday. Brian, for everybody, top 5 female horror characters. Did we mention that Florence?
We only mentioned Florence would be here.
Florence. Well, did we mention that Florence? Okay, cool. Florence will be
sharing. You didn't mention why, and there was horror related.
All right, yeah, she is our this week's decider. She is at the decider level. Her 6 months is up, and she is coming in studio. She's one of the few that we actually invite in studio because she is also our very own Miss Movies with the red light, green light. Which we'll talk about this when she comes in. But I think it was Avery who was suggesting that we do a black light as well.
Which is
red light.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Green light. Let's make this movie. Black light. You were blacklisted and should never even get to pitch again.
Because the movie sounds so
Agreed.
Bad. Okay.
Agreed, y'all. Yeah, okay. So.
Of course he played some black.
All right, Brian. Am I doing Holy Spider right now? Or
Please.
You got the soft sell, not soft sell, but like the minor Banshees of Inisherin, which I'm going to be reviewing with you next week.
Let me simply say that I saw Banshees. It is written and directed by Martin McDonagh, reuniting Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. Yes, that's correct. This movie is not fun. It is not happy. And it is, I would describe it as sad and bleak. And the few laughs that you get are fairly hollow.
Is this you being Brian and needing fun in your movies and missing stuff?
No, this movie is very sad and very. It's just
bleak.
Bleak in the sense that it takes place in 1923 Ireland on like an island off of Ireland, part of the island chain, the archipelago. Did I get that right? Archipelago. I think that's correct.
Is it the same island Calvary? Calvary.
Well, no, place. But there is Brendan Gleeson is involved in a confession scene.
Because that's his McDonagh's brother made that one. Yeah.
That's a little bit of a connection there. He is involved in a confession scene. Banshees is good. It's got a tone that it does not vary from. It's a tough watch. I would not recommend this to the average moviegoer. However, our audience, I believe, is a little more in the zone for this movie, and thus I recommend people see it before we talk about it if you can have access to it. Banshees of Inisherin.
Good performances.
Great performances. Everything.
Going to be up for some awards there.
You can definitely see that.
Is it? This is the first movie he's made since all the success he had with 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing.
That was so much more accessible.
Ebbing.
This is just a really inaccessible movie.
I always forget the Illinois.
Ebbings, Minnesota. Ebbings, Mississippi.
Missouri.
I mean,
I always forget the state now. I didn't used to forget the state. Now I'm forgetting the state.
I'd say 3 billboards.
I mean, of all the states, the most forgettable is probably Missouri. Let's
Oh,
be
that's
honest.
really
You know what I'm saying? Fuck you, Blues. All right, sorry. It's a hockey thing.
I've been to
I
Missouri.
joke.
I've been there.
Have you been to Missouri? Wow, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about
So
that.
I can speak
We
about
should
it.
maybe do a spin-off show. It's just called Brian's Been to Missouri.
I remember nothing.
You know what's confusing? It's Kansas City. All right, I'm not going to do that whole thing, but it's so confusing. Kansas City, get your ass in Kansas. All right. How fucking confusing is that? It's fucking confusing.
There's a California city in Nevada.
I wanted the streets of St. Louis with my paps. It's pretty good. We watched the Pirates clinch the division.
Not against the Cardinals, I have to assume.
Yeah.
It'd be really weird if it was against a different team.
Early 90s. We were flying into Pittsburgh to watch them do it against the Mets for like the last series of the season. It was like, they were neck
In
and
St.
neck.
Louis?
No, we had a layover in St. Louis. We purposely missed our plane so we could stay in St. Louis and just the Pirates happened to be playing there. It worked out beautifully. We watched them, and it was good times.
Banshees is undeniably good. It's just it's a tough watch. It doesn't pop. It's not doesn't have the doesn't have the energy of 3 billboards or even in Bruges.
Or the characters.
I did like the characters, but man, it's just such a tough recommend.
Okay, well, I got one that is also a tough recommend, but boy, I hope I do this movie justice because it is a powerhouse of a film. This one is called Holy Spider, and Brian, I won't be alone in saying holy shit with this movie. It is based on some real life events that happened in Tehran in the early Oh, not that movie. Come on. Let me pull up my goddamn notes here, Bri. Oh, sorry. Apologies. This is what happens when I'm going to blame it all on Avery.
Oh, my.
All on Avery. And we should also mention Avery's not here. He is back from Sweden, but when he heard that we were doing top 5 female horror characters, he's like, I'm out. We said, please, buddy. And then we didn't even tell him that Florence was going to be here because we knew that would be really
that would really put over the edge.
So this movie did really, really well at Cannes, which is a big film festival that some of you may have heard of. It did have people walking out because of the overt strangulation. I'll say that because what it was presented to me was the sex crimes are so brutal and in your face that people were walking out of the theater at Cannes, and it's strangulations, and it is tough to watch for sure. But I also do this thing, Brian. I realize it all the time, but when I was watching Terrifier, because there are some really hard to watch things with the first Terrifier, and with this movie, it was kind of a tough week. And then I got Piggy over there. All 3 movies were fairly intense.
Indeed.
And I have little tricks that
you didn't even see Black Adam.
I know, intense. I have tricks that I can do because I'm a Pav and I don't like really super intense things, even though I subject myself to them all the time. But I will often remove myself from the experience by thinking about how they got the shot or wondering how many takes they got out of that actress and what she did to prepare or the camera angles. And I'll think about the production side of things to kind of insulate myself from the actual visceral experience.
Basically like a kid reminding themselves it's just a movie.
Yeah. And I still do that. And I can do it since, I've been in production and I went to film school and I can do it fairly easily.
Again with film school.
I'm saying I can do it fairly easily and it might be a cheat. So when I'm saying, oh, you should watch this movie, you're going to love it, I forget that not everyone can remove themselves as easily with, as I do when, thinking about the camera, what lens they're using and whatnot. There's plenty of distractions that I can. So anyways, that said, this movie, Holy Spider, is directed by Ali Abbasi, who brought us Border, which
oh my God,
Brian and I will never forget.
Unforgettable.
Border. There is some
Sexy
crossover.
love scene, though.
There is some crossover in the sense that it's about people kind of loners walking in their own steps, walking in their own existence.
Among Us.
It's so. God, I'm not doing this justice. I'm nervous because I want to do this movie justice.
So let me read the description here off IMDb, and you go from there. A journalist descends into the dark underbelly of the Iranian holy city of Mashhad as she investigates the serial killings of sex workers by the so-called Spider Killer, who believes he is cleansing the streets of sinners.
So obviously this movie has a lot of parallels with what's going on right now with the movement that's happening in Iran and the government, and the younger people and younger women primarily, sticking up for their rights.
Oh, that's right.
So there's a lot of you can see how this has to be up for Best Picture. It has to be. I think
Best Picture.
I mean, maybe Best Picture too. Let me not get ahead of myself. So yeah, this journalist played by Zara Amir Ibrahimi, she comes in early and she wants to get to the bottom of what's happening. And it becomes like a detective, almost a Silence of the Lambs type thing, where she's, it's a serial killer movie.
Zodiac, essentially.
A little bit like Zodiac, right? And she's in this very frustrating culture where the men are just giving her the business right off the bat. The very first scene we see with her, she walks in a hotel and they're like, you can't stay here. You don't have a husband with you. We can't let you stay in a hotel by yourself. What will people think? Cover up your hair. And she's like, none of your business. Leave my hair out of this. I'm a fucking journalist. Let me stay in the room. And then the guy goes and talks to his manager and comes back. And he's like, okay, you can stay. She's had an ass full of all these men telling her how to live. Right? She smokes Marlboro Reds. I love this woman. This actress is fantastic. This character is really, really great. So she's after this killer, and we see the first murder, and it's pretty hard to watch, right? There's a lot of strangulation.
Oh dear.
We see some of the sex workers doing their thing. In fact, we see actual oral. However, I don't know if they used a prosthetic, but you can see in the shadows that there's actual, which you don't see very often. But I think it's important because it reminds you that these women are out there doing vile, disgusting things because they have to. And most of it's to feed their opium habit. But it's even mentioned in the movie that if your government is letting your people down to the point where they have to sell their bodies on the street, there's something wrong with the government. At least that's what was said by a government official when he was saying what he knows he has to say. So ultimately, we get to the spider killer. It's not one of these ones where he's in the shadows you remember like in 7 with John Doe, we see him probably halfway through the movie. There's a lot of mystique about who John Doe is in 7 before we finally see Kevin Spacey. When he comes in detective.
Okay,
that's like halfway through, I'd say.
That's the third act.
Perhaps. This happens much, much earlier. We get to see the spider killer. We get to see him go hunt his prey. We get to see him interacting with his family, with his son and his 2 young daughters and his wife. And then it's like a two-hander. We got plot A, plot B. We got the 2 of them, and we see them converging. And at times it's predictable, but it's okay because you want to see what you think is going to happen. At other times it's exceptionally frustrating because of the things that she's dealing with not only the government, but the police and all the authorities. The only person she really has on her side is a local journalist who he's the only one who really treats her with reverence and respect, and all the other men are either coming on to her or dismissing her. Yeah. And she won. I think she won Best Actress.
I can't.
Sorry for that.
That was weird.
It's brutal, wrenching, human, satisfying at times, and beyond frustrating at others. And then it also occurred to me, and I don't know if I've ever had this thought before. I'm sure I'm not the first one to have this thought, but apparently like hair, like showing a little bit of hair, underneath your scarf is the equivalent of showing cleavage.
Really?
Yeah. Because if you're showing a little bit of hair, it means that, cleavage is completely out of the question over there, right? So,
but it's as though over here we'd be showing a cleavage.
Yes. It's the equivalent. Just showing like a little bit like this right here. Like, you see what I'm doing right there? Yeah. Like that would, if I was a woman in Iran, in a lot of Middle Eastern, where that's the rule, it would be like showing cleave. Really? Right? Yeah. But and then
know that
there are certain things that happen as soon as the sex worker, he gets them back to his place, like they remove the scarf. It's almost like immediately just whipping.
Yeah, right off. Take it off, baby.
So yes, I highly recommend this movie. It's thought-provoking. It's about radicalization and a radicalized society and how that all happens. And I can tell you that by the end, I don't know if this sounds right. I was exalted. Okay. I was energized. I saw this late night and I had a hard time going to sleep because I like this movie so much. It's fucking powerhouse movie. Oh. Powerhouse of a movie. She is fantastic.
According to Just Watch, this will be available to stream come November 14th.
Okay, so we got a couple weeks. And yes, it is brutal. The strangulations. I mean, these actresses who are being strangled by this monster, they really, their eyes are getting big and they're really going through the motions to sell the violence of it, which is important, like I said. Like, I think with movies like this, if you shy away from that kind of stuff and they get killed behind closed doors, there's a fine line. You don't want to be gratuitous, but you also want to show what these people are actually going through. Like, I think, going down on a guy and seeing his weird penis going to her mouth, like, it's kind of necessary to show the she's a sex worker. She's out there working, the streets. No, that's what she has to do.
Is the penis weird, or is it weird that we're seeing?
It's weird that we're seeing it. It's a bit jarring, right, when you see it. And it's real quick. It's not gratuitous. Like, I think that Ali really does a fine job here, Abbasi. I really hope this is up for beyond best foreign language film, not but best international film. It's got to be up for best international. Might get a couple other awards as well.
Okay,
Fantastic.
It's on my list, man. I'm excited to check this out, even though I think it'll be horrifying.
1 hour 56 minutes, and it does not. It's a really well paced movie. So huge recommend there. 4.5 star movie.
Screener.
Yeah, I sent a request and got the link. Brian. You know what I didn't do?
What's that?
Because I also did the same thing with the old Piggy, which I did forward to you.
Piggy, I rented. You forwarded it to me?
Yeah, I gave you a link.
I have no recollection of that.
And did you watch the dub?
No, it was subtitled.
Because I had dub and
really?
The dub. When I dipped into Piggy, it was a dub, and it was one of the worst dubs I've ever heard. It was comically bad. Can't do that.
No, I read this fucking movie. All right, guys, let's cut it off there. Florence will be in here for the next episode. Top 5 female horror characters. A lot of range there, Anderson. Fruitful topic.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. Once again, like a lot of these topics, I have no idea how my list is going to go until I actually sit down and starting to do the research. What was your favorite movie you saw, Brian, of the week? What would you want people to see?
Well, actually, probably Banshees, but the ones we talked about, Piggy.
Yeah.
Because fucking Black Adam was pretty bad.
Terrifier, Brian. I can only imagine how much I'd love Terrifier if I really did love the gore. Because I mean, there's some good gore in this for sure, and good special effects.
Solid gore.
It's so strange that people like celebrate that. We'll talk to Florence about that because she couldn't be nicer. Florence is one of the nicest people I've ever met.
She's so soft spoken,
and she just loves the gore.
I have no notes.
Yeah.
Who we listen to?
I already said Octopus Caveman.
Octopus Caveman. You can check them out at AndersonandBrian.com. That's where you go to tap on the Amazon banner. It says top the website. If you guys are looking for a last minute Halloween costume, I'm going to use that 2-day shipping to get it in time. Make sure it fits. Please tap the banner that we have at top AndersonandBrian.com. It'll cost you nothing, as in zero, and it helps us out a little bit. And check us out at Instagram, Anderson and Brian.
Instagram, Anderson and Brian. We got the TikTok working over there. Facebook, of course. Twitter. I was tweeting on the old Twitter today, trying to find. Sorry for I retweeted my own tweets. I didn't want to abuse the Film Vault power too much with it there, but I was desperate for a videographer in the Sacramento area.
I think Mitch Burns posts more as the Film Vault than you do.
Oh, that's true. Especially these days that we got a producer in Avery. So.
That's right. Oh, anyway, you got your videographer?
Yeah, we found a couple people.
Nice.
Addie's Antiques is continuing to move things. Jillian's got like 12,000 clicks on her site this month.
And, it's a site?
On her Facebook market page. Yeah.
That's great.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. She's very proud of it and having a great time doing it. And we're continuing to go to the estate sales and guys, I brought you something just today.
I know, sweet butter dish. Put some. I'm gonna put in there.
It better be butter.
It will almost exclusively be butter.
Okay, it better be. All
right. Are you a shipping boy? Are you boxing shipping boy?
I take it to the post office. She does most of the packing. You know what I did? She never listened to this, so she will never know. It wasn't one of our listeners, but I purposely packed something very poorly, knowing that it would break, so that she would never ask me to pack again.
I don't know what happened.
Diabolical.
That's right.
Yeah, that's another tip I get if you're especially this works for the girls. Like if you have a guy who's always going, give me a massage, give him like just a terrible massage, like real weak. They'll never ask again. I didn't really do that, but I thought about it.
The old romantic.
I did pack something that got broken, and she's like, all right, I'll just do it. So I just go to the post office.
Sorry, honey, I really tried. Twitter and Facebook, The Film Vault. And fuck Avery and his podcast. Until next time. Oh, we got to thank Giovanni.
Invade the Decade.
We got to thank Mitch Burns.
Yeah.
Jomo.
Yeah.
Mike Cole. I'm missing somebody.
Jordan Wolf.
But
I don't think there was a listener list this week because I got it out there a little bit late.
I saw some good ones on.
Okay, maybe we'll just spot check. Maybe you can spot check for us.
Well, can you text Joe?
No, Jordan Wolf's the one who does that for us.
Yeah, Joe Wo.
Oh, Joe Wo?
That's right.
No, I'm not going to do that. He lives in Canada. It's very late. All right, let's go.
Prime time, buddy.
I think it's Vancouver, actually, so it's not late at all. All right, let's go.
Until next time.
We do it for Van Gogh.